Hi, it's Mark Coopersmith, and in my ongoing series of videos and conversations with all things innovation and entrepreneurial and go-to-market, it is a real pleasure for me to introduce the first of what's going to be a pithy six-video series with my colleague from UC Berkeley, Judy Hopelain. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Mark. Thanks so much. I'm so happy to be here and join you this
I
afternoon.
love your UC Berkeley Go Bears shirt today.
Go Bears.
Um, Let me provide a little bit of context, both on Judy and this topic. As I just mentioned, Judy and I were talking not too long ago about marketing, go-to-market, entrepreneurial marketing, and we talked about some of the classic marketing elements, the four Ps, which have been around for 50 to 60 years as they were originally envisioned. And we'll go into exactly what those four Ps are in a while. And in a minute, and then all of the other elements that have arisen around that. And we thought it would be really interesting for us to do a quick series on these foundational marketing elements, these four Ps. In fact, Judy, our four Ps are, what are our four Ps?
The four P's are product, price, place, and promotion.
Exactly. Now, there are lots of other Ps that have come up as, first of all, by other marketing pundits, yet another P. But as we think about the move to digital, as we have disrupted supply chains and channels of distribution, and the way we think about marketing, so some of those are things like positioning, personas, which of course talk about people, personalization and our ability to both do digital personalization as opposed to customized product manufacturing, process, such as our go-to-market process, which we'll address a bit in here, but then we'll be using these elements as part of that as we explain it elsewhere. And for me, which is really important from an entrepreneurial standpoint, how we measure and track progress. So what are the milestones that we lay out in all elements of our business to show that we are de-risking the development of this new venture, new products, the creation of revenues, and the creation of value for entrepreneurs and for investors. So there's lots of P's as we've gone from analog to digital, or another P, pixels, in much of what we do. Now, Judy comes to this topic with some great background and credentials. So allow me to take a moment, and Judy, please add what I may have missed or perhaps gotten wrong.
I'm
She is
blushing.
a continuing lecturer at the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley, so a colleague of mine for a number of years. And she comes to this having worked on the agency and consulting side with firms such as Accenture and the Boston Consulting Group, and has also worked in-house with brands such as Patagonia, where she was the director of corporate strategy for such a respected brand. And Judy has also worked with just a host of global brands, ranging from Genentech to Barbie, the classic toy, to what are some of the other brands, Judy, that you've worked with?
So I've spent a lot of time with Visa. I've also done, work way back in the past in the automotive industry. I have done a lot of tech with SAP and Concur and Salesforce. So it's a real mix between consumer products, B2B tech, healthcare, and fun stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. So what we want to do in this brief intro is do exactly that, is kind of frame the four Ps within the context of marketing and the marketing mix. And with that, I think I'll turn it over to Judy. She has a few slides to share.
So let me just get my, yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Mark. And one of the main jobs of marketing is to move customers down the funnel. And when we talk about the funnel is a construct that really mirrors the customer decision-making process, starting with awareness and moving from becoming aware of something to considering it, to actually trying it or buying it, and ultimately, hopefully becoming loyal to it and maybe even advocating on behalf of that brand. And there are four P's, like Mark said. There's a lot of P's out there, but the four P's classically are the tactics that marketers use in order to move customers from awareness down through that marketing funnel. So I say one of marketing's jobs is to do this. When I think about marketing, the main job of marketing is to be the voice of the customer inside the company and to be the voice of the company outside to the customer. And so it's really important for us as marketers to be able to get the word out about what is it that we have to offer, how fantastic are the products, what are the product features, as well as pricing and channel strategy and distribution implications for how customers actually receive the products that we have to offer to them. So we're going to talk about all of those 4 Ps in these series of conversations.
So, Judy, one of the things that I represented, it is the funnel. I sometimes will call it the customer life cycle, and I'm sharing this because my students may look at it a little differently, or those that know it. But essentially, as you move from one stage to the next, whether it's a funnel or a life cycle, you're using these tools to move the customer through that funnel, through the life cycle, and you kind of want to keep bumping them along. Is that right?
Exactly right. Ideally you want them to go as far down that funnel as possible, and the nirvana is they get all the way down. They become an advocate on your behalf and do your marketing for you by sharing their perspective, their experience with the product and with the brand, with people they know that you don't even necessarily know who they are. So advocates really help you do your marketing for you, and a positive experience all the way down that funnel builds advocacy. That's exactly right, Mark. All right, so what are these 4 Ps? Well, we call them the marketing mix. Sometimes they're the marketer's toolkit. And they, as I mentioned, comprise product, price, place, and promotion. And all of these are aimed at a target P, persona. So there is that 5th P, one of the additional Ps that Mark mentioned at the beginning. But within product, and within price, and within place, and within promotion, there are multiple components. And each of these, again, is a lever that we can pull, a tactic we can deploy in order to help build awareness, consideration, trial, repurchase, loyalty, and ultimately advocacy. So in these series of conversations, we're going to walk through each of these in some detail. And we're going to use an example. And the example that I love to use is the Apple Watch. And the current version of the Apple Watch that's out on the market is the Apple Watch 7. So let's talk about that. Just again, recapping what the 4 Ps are doing. So the 4 Ps really come to life in this example of the Apple Watch. Apple, as you all know, is the master of turning a product demo about the features of their product into something much more evocative and emotional about how that product can actually impact our lives. And this is a video from Apple that I want to share with you now. So Mark, take it away.
Great. As I'm sharing screen from my end where I have it teed up, one of the key things around marketing that's important, and I think it's reflective in the way that you framed it, is that marketing can represent all the ways that a company touches a customer. The customer's in the middle, and we have product and price and promotion and all of those, and place, and all of these other elements. So as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, you want to think about all of those touch points as we go through. Now here is the video from Apple, and I will go ahead and play it.
Dear Mr. Cook.
Dear Apple.
Dear Tim.
To tcook@apple.com. Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Nice to meet you. Okay, hello.
So, the run began as usual.
I was 32 weeks pregnant, getting ready to go to bed.
The next morning I'd have notifications on my watch and my phone saying,
Your heart rate is elevated. And I was like, huh.
oh, that's strange.
And I run 90 kg, and it says 220 beats. And I'm like, something's not right. I told my husband, like, we need to go. He was like, well, I'm in the middle of cutting grass. I'm like, we need to go.
And then suddenly I woke up to EMTs.
Oh, this is my husband, Kyle.
Hey.
He's going out to cut the grass.
When I fell, it automatically called 911, and then it calls my wife. When I think about what happened and what could have happened,
Once we got to the hospital, they realized it was some sort of infection. My heart rate was spiking, and it was causing the baby's heart rate to get lower and lower. So, emergency C-section, and she was born.
Had I not had surgery, it estimated that I would have had a heart attack within less than 12 months.
I mean, like, I have goosebumps. I don't know if you can see them through, like, the camera. It's crazy.
It's not something you think of, your watch
Ugh.
saving your life.
Can you wave hi?
In the past, I didn't prioritize taking care of myself.
Yeah, so these are probably one of the largest pairs of pants I have. I'm standing in one of the legs of them.
But now I've gained the ability to be active in ways that I never would have dreamed of. All because the computer on my wrist told me it was time to fill the rings.
Yeah, closing rings.
It's like this little reminder going, okay, you could do a little better today.
When I see the little rings of like, get your moves in today, sometimes it used to be like, mind your business, Apple Watch, but then it's like, you know what, I do need to get my move in.
I like the idea of achievements that you get for every small things done.
It has, I just reminded me I should stand up, by the way.
这个数据就是那种无形的力量，就是在后面 push 那种感觉。
I'm the blur.
He's the blur. Yeah, that's his nickname, is the blur. Harrison is on the autism spectrum, and he's on the cross-country and track teams here at the school. He was having some issues with anxiety and crowd noise.
The sound of the cheering just throws me off. So, I paired up my watch with my headphones, and the music helps me focus.
When he started running with music playing, it was like seeing a different athlete. This moment of triumph, goosebumps, and tears, and it was cinematic.
Apple needs to know this happened. What you did in your brainstorming sessions came to life and helped save mine.
Dear Tim,
Dear Apple, dear Mr. Cook, I just had to tell my story. I will be forever grateful.
I had no idea that one day it would save my life.
what I want to say is thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to me.
Back to you, right? And it gives you those goosebumps.
Gives me goosebumps every time I see it. I think that video is so powerful in terms of illustrating, the features, the attributes of that product, but elevating it to such a point where it gives you goosebumps. And,
Right.
and all of us can relate to some aspect of that. I know whenever my Apple Watch tells me it's time to stand up, I do get mad at it. But it's a good, it is helpful. So in any event, I think it's a great way to tee up the 4 Ps, right? The target customer, it's people who want a healthier life. And they say that literally in their own communications. It's the ultimate device for a healthy life. And so here we can see there's a range of different products. They've got lots of different features. We're going to talk some more about the ways that the 4 Ps come to life through the Apple Watch 7. And I'm looking forward to sharing the specifics of the 4 Ps with you over the next few videos.
So Judy, thank you for that as an introduction. And just to recap, we're going to, the Apple Watch will be a case study as we look at our 4 Ps and talk about the broader implications. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Fantastic. Looking forward to our conversations, and to all of you watching, come back for our very first P, product, in just a minute.